Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to the Viswaprajna channel uh, for the reading of Animal Farm that we have been doing for the last three episodes. Today is the fourth episode, and we are being joined here live by SK Garu as well as Lawyer Garu. Good morning, SK Garu, and good evening, Lawyer Garu.
Good morning, Andy.
And sir,
Hello,
very
Shravan
good
garu.
evening.
Good
Hello,
morning,
hello, Scared.
good evening. So, uh, without further delay, I'll try to cover what was done in the first three chapters, and then we'll go into the fourth chapter. So anybody who wants to join, I already gave the uh, live link, live link in the chat. So you should be able to join for the reading. And again, we'll try to take it easy, slow, and then slowly try to let these ideas, concepts, etc., sink in, basically, right? So I have to mention before we go that the new intro was created by Lawyer Garu, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Looks very
Yeah, sir.
cool, and I like it.
The intro.
The intro, yeah, yeah, the intro video
Okay.
Mhm.
looks very hi-fi and high-tech. So, okay. So now, in the first three chapters, what happened? The animals got together. They have a new ideology that was introduced by the major, then Napoleon, and uh, what is the name of the other pig? What is it? Sugar bowl or sugar something, right? So basically, they started adopting that ideology. Then they overthrew the humans. Then they took over the farm. They worked very hard, and um, uh, yeah, Roshan, welcome to the reading. Thanks for subscribing. So, and uh, they have a fairly good harvest the first year, basically. The dogs have a new set of puppies, and then the leader Napoleon takes the puppies away, and the milk and apples are um, the milk and apples are now part of the diet of the pigs because they have to think and they have to do all the hard work, basically.
They are brain workers.
Yeah, they are intellectuals.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that said, Snowball is the name of the other pig. So Napoleon and Snowball are the leaders, and then there is Squealer, who is the PR manager, I guess, or the, in other words, the press, basically, right? The propaganda machine. So anyway, that's what happened in the first three chapters. So now the idea is what's going to happen next. Now that the first year of harvest is over and they have done well, what is going to happen to the animal farm next is the interesting part now. So if you have any questions, please interrupt me, or if you want to discuss anything. But we will proceed with chapter 4. Yeah, Billions Garu, thank you so much. Okay, so chapter 4, The Animal Farm, George Orwell. By the late summer, the news of what had happened on the animal farm had spread across half the country. Every day, Snowball and Napoleon sent out flights of pigeons whose instructions were to mingle with the animals on neighboring farms, tell them the story of the rebellion, and teach them the tune of Beasts of England. Okay, I remember reading some of this. So the press is going out and talking about how great the animal farm is in the form of pigeons, and there's a lot of literature and uh, I guess radio propaganda that's being put out in the form of pigeons, basically. So they're going to the neighboring farms and then telling them how the rebellion worked, and then teaching them the tune of Beasts of England. Most of this time, Mr. Jones had spent sitting in the tap room of the Red Lion being the bar, at Willingdon, complaining to anyone who would listen of the monstrous injustice he had suffered in being turned out of his property by a pack of good for nothing animals. The other farmers sympathized in principle, but they did not at first give him much help. At heart, each of them was secretly wondering whether he could not somehow turn Jones's misfortune to his own advantage. Okay, so that's very important to understand. Right, it's to each his own or her own. It was lucky that the owners of the two farms which adjoined Animal Farm were on permanently bad terms. One of them, which was named Foxwood, was a large, neglected, old fashioned farm, much overgrown by woodland, with all its pastures worn out and its hedges in disgraceful condition. Its owner, Mr. Pilkington, was an easy-going gentleman farmer who spent most of his time in fishing or hunting according to the season. So he was not much of a harvester, not much of a like a animal husbandry kind of person. The other farm, which was called Pinchfield, was smaller and better kept. Its owner was Mr. Frederick, a tough, shrewd man, perpetually involved in lawsuits and with a name for driving hard bargains. These two disliked each other so much that it was difficult for them to come to any agreement, even in defense of their own interests. Nevertheless, they were both thoroughly frightened by the rebellion on Animal Farm and very anxious to prevent their own animals from learning too much about it. At first, they pretended to laugh, to scorn the idea of animals managing a farm for themselves. The whole thing would be over in a fortnight, they said. They put it about the animals on the manor farm. They insisted on calling it the manor farm. They would not tolerate the name animal farm. So, what did they say about the animals on the manor farm? That the animals were perpetually fighting among themselves and were also rapidly starving to death. So, from the outside, they were imagining that this is what was going on inside the animal farm. Okay, initially at least. When time passed and the animals had evidently not starved to death, Frederick and Pilkington changed their tune and began to talk of the terrible wickedness that now flourished on the animal farm. It was given out that animals there practiced cannibalism. And 1 second, somebody joined. Dawji joined. Yeah. Hello, Dawji. Welcome to the reading. Okay, I think he's on mute. So you can unmute and talk whenever you want. Right, I'll continue the reading. Okay. So there were rumors that they were floating. It was given out that the animals were uh, pra- there practiced cannibalism, tortured one another with the red hot horseshoes, and had their females in common. This was what came of rebelling against the laws of nature, Frederick and Pilkington said. However, these stories were never fully believed. Rumors of a wonderful farm where the human beings had been turned out and the animals managed their own affairs continued to circulate in vague and distorted forms. And throughout that year, a wave of rebelliousness ran through the countryside. So nobody was obviously allowed inside the farm. So the pigeons were spreading some stories, the human beings were spreading other stories, the farms right next to the animal farm. So there was a lot of some information, some misinformation, basically. But whoever wanted to believe that the rebellion was successful and that's probably the right thing to do, there was a lot of talk throughout the year about it. Bulls, which had always been tractable means staying on course that was laid out, suddenly turned savage. She broke down hedges and devoured the clover. Cows kicked the pail over. Hunters refused their fences and shot their riders onto the other side. So all the animals were rebelling in their own way. Above all, the tune and even the words of Beasts of England were known everywhere. It had spread with astonishing speed. The human beings could not contain their rage when they heard this song, though they pretended to think it merely ridiculous. They could not understand, they said, how even animals could bring themselves to sing such contemptible rubbish. Any animal caught singing it was given a flogging on the spot. And yet, the song was irrepressible. That means it could not be repressed, it could not be suppressed. The blackbirds whistled it in the hedges, the pigeons cooed it in the elms. It got into the din of the smithies and the tune of the church bells. And when the human beings listened to it, they secretly trembled, hearing it, hearing in it a prophecy of of their future doom. So basically, they were acknowledging that this is a song of rebellion. All the human beings were, and the animals were very happy singing it, right? So basically, it was stamped. It was a proxy for rebellion, basically. Okay. Early in October, so now it's getting to the like middle of the fall season. When the corn was cut and stacked, and some of it was already threshed, a flight of pigeons came whirling through the air and alighted in the yard of Animal Farm in the wildest excitement. Jones and all his men, with half a dozen others from Foxwood and Pitchfield, had entered the five-barred gate and were coming up the cart track that led to the farm. They were all carrying sticks except Jones, who was marching ahead. Hang on one second. Did I miss anything or no? This is how it is. Okay. So Jones somehow gathered a few men, his 5 men, and again he started. He decided to take the farm back. Right. So the men had entered the five-barred gate and were coming up the cart track that led to the farm. They were all carrying sticks except Jones, who was marching ahead with a gun in his hands. Obviously, they were going to attempt to recapture the farm. This had long been expected, and all preparations had been made. Snowball, who had studied the old book of Julius Caesar's campaigns, which he had found in the farmhouse, was in charge of the defensive operations. He gave his orders quickly, and in a couple of minutes, every animal was at his post. So they saw that the attack was happening, and they were ready to defend the farm, basically, with Snowball being the strategist. He was giving the orders, basically. As the human beings approached the farm buildings, one second, I want to make sure everybody's okay. As the human beings approached the farm buildings, Snowball launched his first attack. All the pigeons, to the number of 35, flew to and fro over the men's heads and muted upon them from midair. And while the men were dealing with this, the geese, who had been hiding behind the hedge, rushed out and pecked viciously at the calves of their legs. So I presume muted means they did whatever they do from high up in the air, right? On top of the men's heads. So, and the geese were following the pigeons, basically. However, this was only a light skirmishing maneuver intended to create a little disorder, and the men easily drove the geese off with their sticks. Okay, so the first sort of like a distracting maneuver was done, and the men countered it. Snowball now launched his second line of attack. Muriel, Benjamin, and all the sheep, with Snowball at the head of them, rushed forward and prodded and butted the men from every side, while Benjamin turned out and lashed at them with his small hoofs. Once again, the donkey and I guess Muriel was, I don't know, probably one of the sheep or a horse, I don't remember. But anyway, so the next attack was more of a more serious attack, basically, right? Um, but once again, the men with their sticks and their hobnailed boots were too strong for them. And suddenly, at a squeal from Snowball, which was a signal for retreat, all the animals turned and fled through the gateway into the yard. Okay, so the animals retreated. The men gave a shout of triumph. They saw, as they imagined, their enemies in flight, and they rushed after them in disorder. This was just what Snowball had intended. As soon as they were well inside the yard, the 3 horses, the 3 cows, and the rest of the pigs who had been lying in ambush in the cowshed suddenly emerged in their rear, cutting them off, basically. So they completely lured them inside and then they cut them off from the cart path. Snowball now gave the signal for the charge. He himself dashed straight for Jones. Jones saw him coming, raised his gun, and fired. The pellet scored bloody streaks along Snowball's back, and a sheep dropped dead. Without halting for an instant, Snowball flung his 15 stone, 15 stone is the weight basically, right, against Jones's legs. Jones was hurled into a pile of dung, and his gun flew out of his hands. But the most horrifying spectacle of all was Boxer, the whatever the cart horse, rearing up on its hind legs and striking out with his great iron-shod hoofs like a stallion. His very first blow took a stable lad from stable lad is the guy like a helper in the horse stable. Stable lad from Foxford on the skull and stretched him lifeless in the mud. At that sight, several men dropped their sticks and tried to run. Panic overtook them, and the next moment all the animals got together. All the animals together were chasing them round and round the yard. They were gored, kicked, bitten, trampled on. There was not an animal on the farm that did not take vengeance on them after his own fashion. So now all the animals piled on top of these three guys and they started taking their turns, kicking them and doing whatever it is that they did. Even the cat suddenly leapt off a roof onto a cowman's shoulders and sank her claws in his neck, at which he yelled horribly. At a moment when the opening was clear, the men were glad enough to rush out of the yard and make a bolt for the main road. And so within 5 minutes of their invasion, they were in ignominious retreat by the same way they had come, with a flock of geese hissing after them and pecking at their calves all the way. All the men were gone except one. Back in the yard, Boxer was pawing with his hoof at the stable lad who lay face down in the mud, trying to turn him over. Right? And what happened? The boy did not stir. So he was lying unconscious or dead. He is dead, said Boxer sorrowfully. I had no intention of doing that. I forgot that I was wearing iron shoes. Who will believe that I did not do this on purpose? That's what Boxer was now very remorseful that he did not want to kill the boy. No sentimentality, comrade, cried Snowball, from whose wounds the blood was still dripping. War is war. The only good human being is a dead one. Okay, so that's a famous line that is used even today. A lot of people use it for various reasons. I have no wish to take life, not even a human life, repeated Boxer, and his eyes were full of tears. Where is Molly? Exclaimed somebody. Molly, in fact, was missing. For a moment, there was great alarm. It was feared that the men might have harmed her in some way, or even carried her off with them. In the end, however, she was found hiding in her stall with her head buried among the hay in the manger. She had taken to flight as soon as the gun went off. And when the others came back from looking for her, it was to find that the stable lad, who in fact was only stunned, had already recovered and made off. So the stable lad who fell down was unconscious. He didn't die. So he got up while the animals were away looking for Molly, and then he ran away as well. The animals had now reassembled in the wildest excitement. So they won the war. So now they are super excited, each recounting his own exploits in the battle at the top of his voice. An impromptu celebration of victory was held immediately. The flag was run up and the Beasts of England was sung a number of times. Then the sheep who had been killed was given a solemn funeral, a hawthorn bush planted on her grave. At the graveside, Snowball made a little speech emphasizing the need for all animals to be ready to die for Animal Farm if need be. The animals decided unanimously to create a military decoration, Animal Hero First Class, which was conferred there and then, on Snowball and Boxer. It consisted of a brass medal. There were really some old horse brasses which had been found in the harness room. So the brass medal was conferred to Snowball and Boxer basically. And to be worn on Sundays and holidays. Uh, there were also Animal Heroes Second Class, which was conferred posthumously on the dead sheep. Okay, so all kinds of military decorations and everything were um, given. New rituals were created, etc., etc., and some speech and what is expected of animals, etc., was also discussed. There was much discussion as to what the battle should be called. In the end, it was named the Battle of the Cowshed, since that was where the ambush had been sprung. Mr. Jones's gun had been found lying in the mud, and it was known that there was a supply of cartridges in the farmhouse. it was decided to set the gun up at the foot of the flagstaff like a piece of artillery and to fire it twice a year. Once on October the 12th, the anniversary of the Battle of the Cowshed, and once on Midsummer Day, the anniversary of the rebellion. Okay. So with that, we come to the end of chapter 4. Okay. All right. So a lot happened in chapter 4. Dauji, any comments?
I'm just loving Molly. The genuine reaction from an animal, because anyone will shoot. Like it's genuine that animal will run away.
Correct. Correct.
Molly was like, I'm not fighting anymore. I'm going.
Mm.
I just love Molly.
Mm.
And by the way, this is my favorite chapter.
Where the war is fought.
Yes, I- you know the reason. The
Yeah, go
reason
ahead,
is
please. Mm.
one and only cats. Cats be
Correct.
like, "Ki, I'm not doing any work. Okay, let's clear that. I'm not gonna do any work. But if you are fighting, then I can come momentarily."
Correct. When the time
I
is
was
right.
like, wow. Yeah, that when time is right, I can come and scratch someone for my liking.
Correct.
Like, okay, let's come. I was like, wow,
Mm.
and I love that.
Mm. So one of our viewers, his name is or Devavrata Bhishma, saying, "I old major aa gaya." Namaskar. So he's the old major,
Yes,
like the Pitamaha of the entire book, basically.
Guru clan.
yes,
Guru clan,
yeah, Kuru clan, yes.
exactly.
And I was feeling very sad, and I don't know why only Jones had the gun, why
Correct,
Frederick and Blington doesn't had gun. Like they should also have. They are also like farm manager, like or what we should say like owner.
correct,
They were also farm owner. They should also have guns.
correct.
Like so,
Yeah,
and I feel sad also for boxer also. Like
correct.
he is the character that I represent, and I would like to say that this is what happened when the people like normal people got into politics. Like not got into politics. I don't know the real word. Like what we say, caught up in political scenarios. Like
Correct.
two people fighting and they are using boxer, or we
Hmm.
should say normal people.
Yeah,
And when they hurt, they know that this is bad if they hurt someone. So I just love that.
yeah,
Yeah, that is the irony here, sir. So the thing is wearing an iron boots and still yeah, stating that no, not at all, it's my intention. Then why is the first thing he wore the iron shoes or it wore the iron shoes?
mm.
So something, and also the cutting down of the attack from the behind, hiding there. It's a good strategy. I liked it.
So all the strategies were created by Snowball, basically. He's the brain man, basically, right? Brain pig.
So Snowball is a he or it?
Snowball is a pig.
Big. Okay.
No, it's a pig.
He
It's
is a
one of the
pig.
two
Big.
pigs.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Snowball and Napoleon are the two pigs that took over from the major.
Now,
And
And I'm just
yeah,
thinking for the animals, okay? Animal were like, wow, great leader Snowball. He is so brave. He is so intelligent. He planned all this.
correct.
What a great leader.
Yeah. So, I mean, to Snowball's credit, see, he also rushed to the first attack was on Mr. Jones straight away with the gun. He took the first shot,
Hmm.
actually, right?
Yes.
So it's not like Snowball is completely useless. It's just that there's a lot more credit
Definitely.
that is being, yeah, I mean, he's getting all the credit. He's on the front line. So it also represents the way the world is even today, right? It's like,
Hmm.
I mean, boxers' efforts are recognized to a certain extent, but Snowball
Hmm.
also gets a lot of credit, basically, right? And the other animals
Hmm.
also were brave, but they get this like first class and second class. The sheep that died actually got a second class
Hmm.
medal only,
Hmm.
right? So there
Yes.
is animal hero first class and first animal hero second class.
Hmm. Napoleon should be there,
Mm.
and even Benjamin. Where was Benjamin that time? I forget that
Um,
thing.
Benjamin was in the initial, like second round attack.
Yeah, yeah, second round. Yes.
You know, yeah. So all the animals that were a lot more powerful,
Hmm.
they were given the yeah, they were in the back basically, so that the human beings could be lured back into
So
the
holding
shed
their
and
horses.
the
What at?
horses and the
Yeah.
cows and the pigs. Yeah, yeah. But and then the interesting part is the two farms that are adjoining Animal Farm. They were not on good terms with the Manor Farm basically. So then they never came to help because they could not agree on anything. They were all afraid that the rebellion was happening, and it could happen also on their farms, but they were not ready to collaborate with Jones in order to end the rebellion, basically. Hmm. So it's almost as if it's not real until it comes and the problem comes to your own farm.
Yeah, that's how usually this happens.
That is the human tendency, sir.
That is the tendency. Yes, yes. So the animals are taking advantage, obviously, because now the attack was a much smaller attack. You know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This will become into a big this thing, Kada,
Hmm.
going forward. That's
Correct.
how it is planned, and that's
Correct.
how these other animals are instigated.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. The other animals are getting instigated. The pigeons are
Yeah,
carrying the pigeons are carrying the what do you call message,
Messages,
right?
yep. Singing
Teaching all the
songs,
animals
bees. Yeah.
exactly
this
peace
is
of England.
this is this is called spreading the narrative.
Correct, correct. Spreading the narrative, and slowly the rebellion also takes root in the. I mean, to be. I mean, let's come to commentary is going to be only in English. లేదండి యాక్చువల్లీ I can do Telugu also now that yeah, we have a guest who doesn't understand Telugu, so when he's there we'll do it in English.
You మళ్ళీ చేశారా? Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So mm, so I'll do it in both Telugu and English. Some of our audience are in they want it in Telugu, Dauji, so I'll do both English and Telugu. Okay, I hope you don't mind.
No, no, ఎక్కడ billions knows English very well, no, much better than me.
Oh, okay.
Should not
So
be an
then
issue.
then we'll do it in English.
Just a question.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So because think about it, right? I mean, the latest example that I can see about this whole instigation and this rebellion taking root everywhere. I mean, I don't have any qualms. I'll say it. The Arab Spring. Remember that?
What exactly it is?
The Arab Spring. The all this. They overturned all the governments, right? It started somewhere in Egypt, and then it spread to Algeria. Then it spread to what do you call all the Arab countries, right? There are people gathering in the square and overturning the governments, and then
Mm-hmm. Okay.
so it's the same thing. There's uh, some rumor of something happening in some other country. Slowly they start this say we need that also. Right now the situation is not good, so you overthrow the government basically, overthrow the whatever the current current dispensation is. Hi, Sikshardhan. Welcome.
Hello, sir. Hello to all the
Hello.
Hi,
panel
Shiksha.
members and hello, sir. Sean, sir.
Yeah. So Billions Garu is saying the Arab Spring started in Tunisia. Yeah, somewhere in the excuse me, the northeastern, the horn, the Horn of Africa or the Sub-Saharan Africa, as they say, and then it slowly started spreading to the rest of the countries as well. So it's the same narrative basically, right? Because they were never together. The countries never got together and then formed some kind of y- yeah. There you go. SK Garu put some. From Tunisia, the protests then spread to 5 other countries: Libya, Egypt, Yemen, Syria, and Bahrain. There you go. So there it is, rebellion, right? That's exactly what was going on here also. The pigeons going and spreading the word, and the animals rebelling in their own way in those farms, basically, right? So, Sikshardhan Garu, did you listen to the reading?
Sir, I tried to, but I couldn't follow, sir. I'm sorry for that.
Oh, no,
But
no,
I
it's okay.
will, I'll check this out once again, sir.
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
I couldn't make
So,
it actually. So,
yeah, yeah, no, no, it's all good. It's all good. You can listen to it later also. But then, what
But
the
you
gist
should,
of it?
Sikshardhan.
Yeah,
yeah, sure,
No,
sure,
No,
but you should because it's my favorite.
sure,
chapter
sure.
4 is the key
particular
chapter,
chapter 4.
basically.
That was it.
I will,
Yeah, because this
definitely.
is like gem. Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
matlab, whole book is okay for me, but this one is like jam.
this one is
What a gem.
the real deal, right? So they, Mr. Jones
Yes,
and his
yes,
five helpers, they try to take the farm back, and
yes.
Oh,
the
okay.
Because
animals defeat them in a war, basically.
yes,
Oh,
like John
there
was
was
like,
a,
I am a
there's
human. How could animal beat me? Okay, in a fight. How could they? And I have also a gun. How could they beat me? I have more power.
But they did.
But they did exactly.
Hmm. That is the interesting part, na?
I believe, like, there is a different way of thinking from my side. Either it could be imagination or the agenda that they want to spread across the valley or the farms. Is that how it could play? Maybe.
Yeah.
Assuming
So.
that they have attacked the people, humans, and this is a strategy, this is a blah blah blah, right? Setting the platform and believing everyone it is true without any kind of evidence. Maybe it could be.
Mhm. So that's the see every farm is worried about what might happen in its own farm, but not what happens to the next farm, basically, right? So rebellion is there, but the only farm that has been taken over so far is the manor farm. That is the current situation. But there is rebellion everywhere, as in like people, the animals were becoming aware of the fact that there is one farm somewhere, the Jones farm, where the manor farm, where the rebellion happened and the animals took over. I mean, if you really consider, if you go back in history, the same thing happened in Europe also. Eastern Europe, the entire Eastern Europe was um, overthrown by the communist ideology and communist regimes. So post World War II, all these countries, including Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Romania, all of them they went into one side. Even East Germany back in the day. So, so that is the parallel that he is trying to draw. I mean, this is like just about the turn of the World War. I think 1945 is when he
Yeah,
wrote it.
sir, the Second World War.
Second World War, sorry, yeah.
Mm.
So, I mean, the parallels are there, right? And it's a very uh, B.A. Benjamin rejects rebellion. Yeah, exactly. So
Yes.
That's me, sir. I am the jinn.
reject. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Sir, I think
where was the like Napoleon?
yeah. That's a good question. Napoleon is not part of the picture. Snowball is there in the front, so Napoleon is in the background. I think trying to
Playing big plans.
basically just waiting for his opportunity. He's got other plans.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely he got it. Like,
sir, I have one more observation to
yeah, yeah. Please go ahead.
uh, you said that in 1945 all these things came into existence. I mean, these all these ideologies. So after all the powerful nations got weakened, then these ideologies came into existence. Am I right, sir?
No, no, not like that. In Russia, I think it was
Hmm.
1917 was when the communist ideology took hold. We have to look at history.
Oh,
So in Russia, it
okay. The
happened much
first
earlier.
form,
Ah,
the first
right.
animal form.
Correct. Exactly. And then from there, it
Okay,
started spreading, right? And
right.
yeah. And then by the time Second World War came about and Russia was part of the winning, the coalition forces or whatever they call them, right? So then they started splitting Europe. You know, Russia got a chunk of it. Then the Western Europe started going more towards US and things like that.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but nevertheless, that's basically they overthrew the czars, right? The Russia in the Russian Revolution, the
Hmm.
communists overthrew the
hmm,
czars, and then they instantiated this whole communist ideology there.
hmm,
Yeah. So the parallels are there.
Right.
It's just that we have to try to understand. So obviously, George Orwell knows a little bit more detail than most people because he was there in Europe and then he saw it develop during his lifetime. Right? So it could be some news that he is referring to one particular piece of it. It's very hard to pull all the analogies together, you know, because time, what it does is it distorts what happened back in the day,
hmm.
right? So what
Yes.
might have been very important in that time may not have been captured by history, so you just ignore it, right? So you may not be able to catch exactly what he's trying to say.
Yep.
uh,
Yes,
yeah.
in that way, I was I would like to refer that boxer's moral dilemma. It's not like
Mm.
he was his reaction for the dead body of that
Yeah, when
boy.
he killed.
He
Mm.
was yes when he killed. Like I am boxer, so I would not say I killed. It was just a mistake. Okay, but that snowball's reaction was very bad. Snowball just
Exactly.
say, "What was that line? The only good human is a dead
He's a
one."
dead human. Yeah,
That
exactly.
is the
By the way,
ultimate
I've seen a
line.
lot of.
Yeah.
That
Exactly. Good, good,
the
good,
only good
please.
human is a dead one. I was like, "Wow, that's not
Yeah,
good."
yeah.
So
He says, no sentimentality, comrade. War is war.
yes,
The only good human being is a dead one.
dead
An
one.
innocent one
So,
wearing iron shoes and killing it, even though blood is, no, it
yes,
has to go on, move on.
it's
War is
referring
war.
for like common people
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you
If you
common
put a gun in
political
the
people
hand of
will
a, yeah,
yes.
yeah,
You
exactly.
go fight, you
Yeah,
die, you kill, you die, you kill. Okay, it's your problem. You deal with it. Okay, you killed and I win, so this is my win. You if you die, that's your loss.
that's your loss. Exactly. You have no risk,
Because
basically.
yes, because at the end of the time, I'm just going to give you some food to eat. Only that is
Correct,
my gift for you
correct,
for winning or losing.
correct, correct. Exactly, correct. Yeah, exactly. So if you put a gun in the hand of a civilian, It's going to
Yes.
mess with your brain, basically, right? The entire
Yes.
the war is never a good outcome for ordinary people, whether they win or
Yes.
lose, basically.
So when that kind of situation comes, there is only one major thinking it will go on in that common people brain who is holding the gun. Wow, I got the power now. I'm the powerful in all the human beings. Let's change the world with one strike. That's what he will think, but he don't know the reality.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
But at the end, na, he will regret. He will only regret
100%. 100%.
because
There are actually two.
in
Yeah.
during the war, because in during the war, boxer was like, yeah, I fight, 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 fight. And after the war, after the war he realizes what has truly happened and what he did.
Correct. Correct.
But who forces that wearing those iron shoes? So,
No, this is just a. It's just a. All the horses they have these. They have these iron shoes, right? It's called a horseshoe. It's shaped
yeah,
like a U, and
Yes.
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
there. It's there so that their hoofs don't. Uh, they don't become. I mean, they don't deteriorate when they're doing the farm work, basically. So it's not
Yes.
really a weapon. It's more for farming work. So
But it turned into a different way, Kala.
exactly, he
Mm.
turned into something that he did not anticipate. Right? In fact, talking about the point where war messes with people's heads, there are two movies. If you get a chance, you can watch those. One is called The Thin Red Line. I don't know. It came around the same time as Saving Private Ryan, so it did not get too much popularity. But it talks about this same thing, right? The Thin Red Line is about how the mindset of a person gets totally messed up when they go into war, basically, right? And then there is another one that talks about the PTSD that is associated with war.
Yes. You like
Yeah,
the red line. The thin red line is like World War II, na? Focusing on that I
I don't know
forget
if
that
it's
name.
World War II. Yeah,
Guadalcanal something that name.
yeah. I don't know if it's World War II or the Vietnam War. I don't know exactly, but it is like on the front lines of the war, basically,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then there is another movie
Hmm.
called it's called Jacob's Ladder, right?
Hmm.
So it talks about the what happens is the soldier gets his reality and his imagination gets completely mixed up because of the PTSD, because he participates
Hmm.
in like the frontline war, basically, right? And it's an entire movie that
Hmm.
deals with that how he tries to come out of it, but he's not able to come out of it, and things like that. So this remorse is real, and it can be very painful, actually. I mean, they won the
Hey,
war,
one
but
minute.
yeah,
I don't remember the name of the war like I'm talking about, but it's I'm not gonna spoil if it's right. At the end, there was a twist in that movie that you referring like
yeah,
Jacob
I don't
one.
fully remember. All I know is it refers to
Okay,
that
okay. So,
the thin red line, right? Where once you cross the line,
hmm.
you think that you are able to do whatever is needed to win the war, etc. But then something happens in your head, basically. You know?
Hmm. Because I remember a movie, you know, like he was like and PTSD in whole movie you see this and that. I got told that he never left war. He was mortally wounded inside, and he was
Dawji, your
such a
voice is
Dawji,
getting distorted.
It's getting cut out a little bit, basically.
Yeah, I think you have to check your internet connection. Otherwise, you have to move towards your Wi-Fi.
okay, you'll make himself corrected.
Yeah, yeah,
No
yeah.
problem. Yeah.
He'll come back. Yeah, yeah. We'll listen to him when he comes back. So Bhishmaji is saying Europe was the birthplace of animalism, but it migrated to Asia. Yes. Indeed.
What you mentioned is C oblique cannibalism. So that is animalism, I believe. That is what is meaning to say.
Right, right.
I
We all
don't
know
know.
what he
Some
is
or
referring
the
to.
yeah, some or the other way, the extreme starts with this European regions only.
Well, you can't really blame one area. There are extreme ideologies everywhere. It's just that some of them take hold and they become so popular that
No, no, no. I'm blaming. If you see, I'm not blaming at all. Okay. If you see the historical events that have happened, actually, those are like, starting point, I can say, not originated. Starting point is mm, most of that European regions only. That's what I mean.
Sir,
yeah,
sir, I don't think there is there is a starting point to anything, sir. Everything got a special names. The line of time. That's all. Everything existed uh, previously, but what mostly we can refer to is only the recorded history, right?
correct.
Then what's beyond that?
It has
I
to be
think
something
everything.
uncovered truth. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, my take on these whole ideologies is that they go in cycles, right?
Yeah.
So the purely materialistic line of thought or this, the animalism kind of ideology was always there. It's just that it becomes prominent at one point in time, then again it dies down because you start realizing that it's not implementable, you know.
True, sir. True.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you one more small example and then Daoji, can you talk now? Let's see how your connection is.
Yes, I think it's okay now.
It's okay now. So
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
make one
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
and
Yep.
give it to you. Yeah, it's better. So most recently, right? Let's
Mm.
take the example of Delhi, right? So what happened? So somebody who was claiming to be Aam Aadmi was living in Sheesh Mahal, basically, right? With the kind of grandiosity and pomp and everything that is nothing like an Aam Aadmi, right?
True, sir.
So yeah, so what kind of the ideology is good on paper, right? But when it comes to actually implementing it, not so good. Yeah, go ahead, Daji.
The so-called Apada party.
Ah, yeah, exactly. Right. Okay, he got cut out. He'll come back. So yeah, the so-called Abda party, right? So um, and then they had some people who even had names that were references to this the sea bar animalism, basically, right? They are still there. So the people have to take a serious look at who they are putting their trust in, you know. And again, it's okay to trust for a small period of time, but democracy gives the population a chance to change their rulers, unlike a single party system that is followed on our eastern side, eastern border country, right? If you want to change, you can change the dispensation, basically. Maybe limited choices, but you still have a choice, basically.
I mean, they have. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, good, Shiksha.
Go ahead, Saksham.
Yes, sir. So this so-called Apada party, they were actually they were going against some other party, and when 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 they felt the need, a kind of need, they mingled with them, and then again they parted with them.
Yeah, that's just pure political opportunism.
Opportunism, exactly.
Pure opportunism. Dawji, can you speak now?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. You were telling about a movie
I
that you
think
saw.
my internet is. Yeah, that movie was like son, like R sir has PTSD, and he was like in whole movie he was like hallucinating. At the end, you got to know that it was just all hallucination, and he never left the war area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe that is Jacob's ladder. I
Jacob
don't know.
Ladder.
I'll have to look. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So this
That's good
again,
one.
yeah, yeah,
Very very good.
it's a good one. It's like a Tim Robbins and very nicely done. Yeah. So,
And
I
one
mean,
more thing,
what?
I think
Yeah.
animal farm, someone from the animal farm are like doing something with my internet. Definitely, I'm sure of it.
Okay.
They don't want my knowledge to go outside in
Exactly.
the world.
Correct.
They know the problem.
Correct. Well, all two legs so bad.
All two legs are bad, and they are
Two
very
legs are.
capable of doing all these things. So we have seen the history, so we know they can do it, and they will do it.
Mm.
And this is the physical part of it. Now we'll get into the intellectual part going forward, sir.
Mm. Yeah, very cool. So anyway, the fourth chapter is one of the key chapters, as Tauji already pointed out. So the first attack or the first attempt by the human beings to take over the farm has been completely rebutted. Now they have war heroes, they have war memorial, they have the relics of the war. All the elements are in place. They have two memorials, one for the rebellion and or the days,
Annual ceremony also.
animal ceremony, medals,
And,
the 2 days, one the
hmm,
rebellion day and the other one the day of the war. For to commemorate, and then they have a gun to fire during those days. The entire all the pieces are in place for the celebrations and the ceremonies, basically. Right. So
hmm.
yeah. So
These
any
things
I
other
made
think
me
point?
remember
Yeah,
like
go ahead.
I have seen these things somewhere around, like annual function and all these things.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah, like people entering under our skin. That's what thing.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think we are. Any other points? Otherwise, we can
I
close the
think we
video.
can close. I think we are done.
Yeah. Okay. So Dawji, thank you very much for coming. Sikshardin Garu, Black Tiger Garu, Shravan Garu. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
sir,
much for
for
participating.
the nice
SK Garu
session.
as well.
And you forgot SK Garu.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say SK Garu is not here, but thanks for joining initially as well. And everybody that watched and are going to watch this video, please like and subscribe. More reading to come. Hopefully, somewhere in the middle of the week, I'll try to schedule something. Otherwise, definitely we'll meet back on Sunday for chapter number 5. Please comment if you have any questions or if you want to give any commentary on what you have already seen. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
I will work
Thanks.
harder.
Definitely.